again. What happened in that motel room?
It was coupon night and I was trampolining your wife.
You're a real comedian, aren't you, Snow?
So I wanted to begin by asking you, I love your character, I love Snow.
Great.
And he seemed to me like kind of, to me it was like a combination of Snake Plissken meets John McClane. And I don't know if those were kind of influences for you or if you just sort of created the character from scratch.
They weren't influences for me on a conscious level. I mean, and the character was totally created by Stephen and James, our writer-directors. So you would probably have to ask them. Obviously Stephen was, talking about his love of 80s action movies and those kind of characters. So clearly, they're an influence for him. But I think for me, it was about understanding it from them and then leaving it at that. I didn't want to go back necessarily and go and look at those films.
Right.
And, because unless I need to, then I'd rather not. Unless I'm not getting everything I need from the script and from discussing it with the director, I'd rather sort of leave outside influences alone.
And you got everything you needed from that. Was the humor, because he's so funny, the character's so
I
funny,
know.
was all that humor in there?
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And some of it I might have adjusted a little bit, just sort of take to another level or kind of amend for my own sake or whatever. But no, generally it was there. I mean, Stephen's a funny guy, so he writes funny stuff.
Excellent. It seems to me like early in your career, coming off of LA Confidential, Memento, you probably got a lot of scripts like this to be the big action hero. I'm just curious, or maybe you didn't. I'm curious why at this point in your career you decided that this was something you wanted to do.
Well, I got a couple of offers like that back then, but they were things that just didn't really interest me because they were either a bit two-dimensional or they weren't sort of innovative enough, or they weren't entertaining or amusing enough, or I wasn't just in the place in my head to take something like that on. And I think, taking it on now, as I say, there's something really humorous about it, there's something really entertaining about it, and I think I'm probably in a better place myself to be able to take something like this on.
Do you think being a little bit more mature and in your career and your life helped you sort of understand this character and play a little better?
Probably, yeah, I think so. And I think I've done a real variety of things, and I've never taken on something like this, and so why not now?
Was it fun? Was it exciting to be the badass? I mean, because you're badass in this movie.
Yeah, it was great fun actually. We had a good time, and it was fun to sort of play off Maggie, and I mean, she's fantastic, and she just watching her sort of look down her nose at me like I was just the most obnoxious child that she's ever seen in her life was great, and it was great fun sort of throwing it back at her, so we had a good time together.
Yeah. You mentioned the two directors on the film. Have you worked with two directors before, and what's that like? Does it get confusing as an actor, or they work really together well?
They've worked together a lot. They've done a lot of short films and commercials together, so they have a great rapport. And no, it wasn't tricky. I've never worked with two directors before. But as I say, they work so well as a unit, and James is primarily concentrating on the cinematography. He is the cinematographer. No, it was fine, really. It was fine.
Yeah. And you mentioned working with Maggie and the visual effects. What was that all like for you to kind of do,
Well, there's a lot of green screen to navigate, I mean, obviously they built the set of the prison, and everything that we did in there was, for real. But the sort of the big chase sequence at the beginning and, flying through the air and this, that and the other on wires, was green screen. But the sets that they built were fantastic. They've this massive studio in Serbia, and we'd taken up about eight of the stages, I think. And every time I walked into another one, I was like, wow, you guys built this? So it was really impressive what they built. And then equally as impressive what they got up on screen with CGI,
Don't worry, it's perfectly safe. A simple thank you is enough.